Today we're going to go full tilt as we have a look at the Diamond Select Marvel Select the Punisher figure. When his family was killed in the crossfire of a mafia shootout, Frank Castle put his military training to use, waging a one-man war on crime. As the Punisher, Castle reinvented himself as the merciless scourge of the underworld. The mere mention of his name causes criminals everywhere to cringe in fear because they all know Punisher plays for keeps, and someday he may come gunning for them as well. This, by the way, was sculpted by Steve Kuis. The figure has some problems standing, so I've just got him on display stand right now. Not factoring in the display stand, not that it would matter anyways, the figure is roughly 7.5 or 7.25 inches in height. And if you did think that I reviewed this one before, you're absolutely right. Pick this guy up again, and we're going to have a look at him in a brand new review. Better lighting, better camera, better reviewer. We're going to have a look at this guy right now. We're just going to move him back slightly, and we're going to have a look at the supplied diorama pieces. Now, you know Diamond Select are the kings when it comes to diorama and display bases. And Punisher here, though slightly an older figure, okay, this one's really considerably older, does have some pretty cool display pieces. First and foremost, it comes with the tavern sign. Now, this would be the interior. This would be the exterior. The exterior also doesn't have as much detailing and very much more hollow in nature. You can see that there is the correct flipped around tavern sign. Nice neon sign there, which is attached by plastic chains. So I probably would not be moving this all that much because this may just break at the top there. Nice little neon tavern sign and a little shelf area there. You can put some beverages and stuff like that if you have ones kicking around. You may also notice not only is there carved in etchings, but there are also some bullet holes. This is probably not a go-to with the family sort of tavern. This is probably where the seedy scum of the city, lots of S's there, probably go and have their beverage. A rather shiny wood flooring here. The two pieces come assembled when you get them out of packaging. This actually didn't involve any sort of assembly whatsoever. But you do get that. And then you do get this poor chap, which some assembly was required. The legs on either side of the, I might add, Spider-Man pinball machine, which is pretty cool. I had to install these legs. I would have to actually go back and have a look at the previous video, because he does have these little straps. It looks like a belt on one side and some string on the other, or rope on the other. I don't know if I actually had taken the legs, and the legs are supposed to go through those because he's pinned this guy down. And then, of course, he's exacting justice. So when I attached it, I took the leg and I slid it through the belt, slid it through the rope, and then these little slots on the inside there, you just simply slide and peg those legs into it on both sides. Rather hollow underbelly of the pinball machine, but that's not really what you're going to be looking at anyways. Again, you've got these Spider-Man logos all on the side, along the bottom area here as well. A nice little added mileage log for it. I don't know if Spider-Man would have his own pinball machine if this is in the same universe, technically, as Frank Castle. I mean, it's almost the equivalent of watching Halloween the movie during Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Oh boy, he's mixing mediums there. Anyways, let's have a look at this poor guy. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. I certainly don't know what's happening here. Is that belly hair? But you may notice he's got one standalone grenade in his mouth. This would probably follow up with Frank Castle asking or posing this, "I'm only going to ask you once." And apparently, due to the fact that he's got the grenade in his mouth, once is only the one time you need to ask somebody who's got a grenade in his mouth. He is shackled, and unlike the sign that was a plastic chain, they've actually used a real chain, or at the very least, real linked chains for his handcuffs. Some very decorative artwork on the side, very spider-themed as well. Black Widow spider, spider web, Thug for Life, who, boy, that's, I guess no surprise there, 8-Ball. I don't know if his name is 8-Ball or Dice. Maybe his name is also Dice, I don't know. And then looks like he's gone to prison, I'm guessing. He plays cards. And he likes someone named Copley. Man or woman, I'm not really certain. Oh, and there's also a little spider web there. He's very nicely detailed. I don't know if the intention was that the area around his eyes is specifically supposed to be that light. It makes me think perhaps they either have just washed a little bit darker around those areas, or maybe at some point he was wearing glasses or goggles. The goggles have been removed, and you can see by the very expressioned look on his face, he's not too keen right now. I would also not be too keen with the idea I've got a grenade, live grenade, in my mouth. His head's been smashed against the backboard. And there's a little coin slot. They've even put like a little coin slot here where it's got the 25 cents. 25 cents. It actually says, almost looks like it's 23 cents, but there's no such coin as a 23-cent coin. If somebody wants to offer you that in exchange for a goods or service, I would probably decline. No such thing as 25 cents or 23 cents. There is such thing as 25 cents. I'm getting lost in this. Let's talk about the figure itself. Okay, so he does come with 2 weapons for dispensing punishment or justice. Comes with a smaller pistol, which has painted silver on the end tip there, the little clip, the little pin or little trigger, whatever that is. The little, you can tell I'm really a gun expert. Brown in the handle, otherwise the handle, the majority of the gun is just molded black plastic. He also has a much larger dispensing justice weapon, a rifle, magazine. They've painted in silver, some additional silver there on the side. Other than that, just cast in black plastic. It is slightly on the warped side, just the way I came in the packaging, but you can go ahead and put that into his hands. I suppose it doesn't really matter which hand you put it in. That is on the one hand, and then on the other hand, you can't put it in there, but it is a little on the loose side, so maybe best rule of thumb is you may want to put it on this side and put the pistol on this side. And you've got Frank holding both guns. It's a shame, though, because the figure is very limited in the way of posability, which we will talk about in a second. So you really can't move the arms out, for example. They can only really rotate around, and you can really only rotate the hands. That's all he's got. He doesn't have anything else above and beyond that. But I suppose where the arms are placed, the angling works its way very beneficially in that you bring the arms out, and at the very least, the guns are angled in the appropriate fashion. We'll take him off the display base. Like I said, it does not come with the figure. I can't stress this enough. It does not come with the figure. I just included that. I want to just say that in case somebody goes to the store, happens to find this, and then runs amok in the store saying, I don't see a display stand. Where was the display stand with this figure? I watched this guy on YouTube. He said that there was a display stand. Hold the phone right there, Philip. I never said that it came with a display stand. What I did say was I included a display stand. So get your facts straight, Jack. My name's Phil. Get your facts straight, Phil. Anyways, having a look at the figure itself. It is a nice looking figure. I was scratching my head then. I scratch my head now as to why they've given him red pupils. This is apparently vampire or Dracula Punisher. I jest, but I do have to say I don't know why his eyes are specifically red. Maybe it's just to convey the fact that he is just really angry. He's angry to the point you won't like him when he's angry. He's got red eyes. That's the indicator I better start talking. The other indicator may also be for the fact you've got a live grenade in your mouth, but first and foremost, Frank's got red eyes. Ooh, I better talk. Frank's got red eyes. His skin is on a rather tanned nature. It's very kind of orangey sort of coloring here. I do have to, again, stress for the fact that, no, it's not the display stand thing. Again, we're not going to bring that up. But for the fact that the figure is older, so, like I said, limited on the posability. He does seem a little on the squat side. Like, his legs don't seem like they're the proper proportions to the top half of the figure. Really, here, the figure works. Unfortunately, it does seem like it gets a little on the short side when you move from the waist down. And equally so, it seems like they're a little on the small side, like little small, like, child legs. Not quite child legs, but paint, what they've done, what they've executed here. Seems as if, to me, that they've added a blue, slight blue wash of paint over top of that just to bring out some of the wrinkles in the legs, the thigh area, and also down to his shoes. He's got very clunky, big, bulky shoes. Peg holes in the undersides of his feet, suitable for, you know. And of course, no Punisher would be complete without his trademark Punisher skull. And I so happen to really like this skull. It's one of my all-time favorite Punisher skulls. It's simplistic, it's very slender in nature. Do quite like that a lot. We move his jacket out of the way, which is of a softer plastic material. And he's got these strappings as well as a military belt, complete with multiple pockets. Again, digging the shirt there. The shirt clearly seems to be going the route more of a darker black, where here they wanted to add some additional blue to the legs. It's a wide collared jacket. There's the back of it right there with a split up the middle. And like I said, it is a more softer material. Okay, so let's have a look at this guy's posability. It's not much, I have to admit. Head moves left and right and up and down. Slight rocking back and forth, all chalked up to the fact that he's got a ball joint in the neck area. Arms rotate all the way around. Woo, 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 woo. And he's also got a swivel happening in the hand. Doesn't really have much. Well, he does, but it's not really like you could do a whole lot with it. A swivel in the waist, and that seems to be about it. No articulation, no knee articulation, and certainly no elbow or arm articulation other than just swivel. As a result, though, his one arm drapes more naturally. The other arm kind of shoots out, just out. I guess, again, due just to the way that you want to display the figure with guns in hand. It looks somewhat silly with his arms out without any firearms in place. So we'll go ahead and just put those hands in place like so. Put those into his hands. There we go. At the very least, he may not be able to shoot. Well, I guess he could shoot up. I was going to say you could flee from him by just crawling, scaling across the top of the ceiling. But he would only be able to shoot this way. If he ran this way, he would literally have to turn to shoot at you this way. Unfortunately, the figure is, like I said, very limited on his posability. I suppose what makes up for it, though, is for the fact that he does have a nice-looking head sculpt. His jacket's good. His legs are a little on the short side, but he's an overall decent figure for the time in which he was released. And of course, one has to factor in the fact that he does have the sign, as well as he's got this poor chap right here. And I think collectively, if you put them all together into a Punisher sandwich, which is kind of ultimately what it looks like right now, you've got a pretty delicious looking sandwich. Wait, does that sound right? Whether that sounds right or not, it's still, again, a nice looking figure. Limited a bit by its posability. His legs, as mentioned in the review, are a little on the short side proportionally. Things don't 100% jive on this guy. But I do like the look of the sculpt on the face, even though he's got red eyes. And of course, the icing on the cake is for the fact that you get the tavern sign, as well as you got the guy with the pinball machine. So I think there's a lot of mileage for this particular Punisher. I would definitely welcome a newer version of this guy specifically. Maybe an upgraded head sculpt and, of course, more articulation. We really haven't gotten a whole lot of Punishers from the Marvel Select brand, so maybe we may get some of those in the near future. But if you've seen any of these Marvel Select videos that I've done, one thing that I've mentioned as well is don't scope out this guy if you want to pick this one up for yourself on eBay. Don't pay inflated scalpers prices, because one thing that Diamond Select repeatedly do is they get mileage from their figures and they re-release them again and again. So hold it out. You may probably still stumble across this guy from stock that the comic book store still has, or just wait it out, and Diamond Select may re-release this guy in the coming months or years. Either way, for what he is, I think he's still a decent enough looking figure. He's a little, again, on the short side, but overall a nice looking figure here with Frank Castle, the Punisher. Today we were going back and having a look, as we've already had a look at this guy before, but a double dip from time to time doesn't hurt anybody. Of course, if you got better lighting and a better camera, why not go back and talk a little bit more about a figure that you really liked initially? You can probably add a little bit more to it. beef it up a little bit with some added opinions that I maybe didn't have initially when I had a look at this guy. Either way though, today we were having a look at one of the originals, the Marvel Select Punisher figure. Want to go back and have a look at some of the other figure reviews that I've done from Diamond Select. Not only is there a playlist for Diamond Select specifically, but you can also check out the playlist that's the Marvel Select variety if you want to specifically look for just those figure reviews. And speaking of not playlists, but while we're on YouTube here, speaking of YouTube, Diamond Select also has their own YouTube channel. So if you want to see newer stuff, some of the stuff that's kind of in the pipeline, things that are about to be released, the Diamond Select YouTube channel is your best bet. I have that in my featured channels on my main page. So if you want to head over there, you can kind of get an early look at some of the stuff that they've got coming out to stores in the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months. So I would encourage you to probably check that out from time to time, and certainly subscribe to the Diamond Select YouTube channel. More videos, guys, will be coming your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.